Hey everyone, and welcome to our Masterclass Gallery Tour. Today's explainer is a dynamic journey into how the Philippines and Southeast Asia express their incredibly vibrant cultural identity through contemporary art. You might not even realize it, but whether you're streaming a viral P-pop hit on your way to school, watching a really powerful street dance performance, or just tracing the threads of a handmade textile, you are experiencing a deep, constantly evolving cultural story. And today, we're going to learn exactly how to read it. All right, here's our roadmap for today's explainer. We'll start with the 7 artistic lenses, jump into the pop music of Southeast Asia, check out movement and theater arts, explore weaving and film traditions, and wrap up with the icons of Southeast Asian art. Section 1, the 7 artistic lenses, which is basically your masterclass toolkit. Because before we even look at a single piece of art today, we need our investigative tools, right? I mean, you wouldn't try to build a house without a hammer. These lenses are the definitive tools we'll use to decode every single artwork we encounter. I definitely need you to lock this toolkit into your memory. Let's break it down real quick. Subject is just the main idea, what the artwork is actually about. Theme goes a layer deeper into the learning focus or the underlying discipline. Concept? That's the visual representation setting the mood or story. Think of it as the core vibe of the piece. Medium refers to the physical stuff used, whether that's oil paint, clay, or even digital sound waves. Process is the step-by-step recipe taken to achieve the output, while technique focuses on the specific tools and methods used, like exactly how a guitarist plucks their strings. And finally, practice is the established, traditional, cultural way this art has been carried out for generations. Keep all of these in your back pocket as we move forward. Section 2, Pop Music of Southeast Asia, Fusion and Identity. Let's step straight into the Performing Arts Pavilion. We're kicking things off with pop music to see exactly how local identity beautifully crashes into global trends. Take the phenomenal P-pop group SB19 and their massive track Gento. Using our new toolkit, what exactly is the subject and concept here? Well, they aren't just dancing in some standard studio. They use intense choreography, rugged fashion, and heavy mining set pieces to project this serious Filipino grit and hard work. Gento actually plays on the local word for gold, and their entire visual concept is about digging deep to find that internal value. It's a perfect example of taking local street culture and injecting it straight into a globally accessible medium. And this wave of cultural blending is happening all across the region. Look at Indonesian artists Rizky Fabian's hit Makna Cinta, or Thailand's SB5 with their track Spark. You'll notice some shared Southeast Asian aesthetics going on here. Warm color palettes, and this really fascinating fusion of modern tailoring mixed with traditional textile patterns. So while you can clearly spot a shared regional vibe in their techniques and concepts within these high-production videos, each artist still powerfully preserves their own national language and a totally unique local flair. So here is your challenge as Grade 9 Masterclass students. Don't just passively let the music play in the background while you're doing your homework. You gotta engage in active musical behaviors. Listen closely. Describe the specific instruments you're hearing. Interpret the mood. Evaluate the lyrics. And hey, maybe even improvise your own beat or choreography. Doing all this takes you from being just a casual fan to a real critical thinker who truly grasps a musician's process and technique. Moving right along to Section 3, Movement and Theater Arts, Staging the Story. Shifting our focus to theater and dance, let's look at how stories are physically staged across Asia, where the human body itself becomes the ultimate medium. Now, to truly decode dance, you need to know Rudolf Laban's framework of movement and meaning. Just think about these 3 elements. First, direction. Is the dancer moving in sharp, direct lines, or are they using curving, indirect pathways? Second, speed. Is it a frantic rush, or a sustained, slow motion? And third, weight. Is the movement heavy and grounded, or light and airy? Imagine a heavy, slow stomp in an Indonesian shadow puppet-inspired dance. It conveys a totally different cultural concept and emotion compared to a light, rapid leap in a Philippine folk dance adaptation. The entire meaning changes with every single shift in the body. Section 4, Weaving and Film Traditions, Visual Narratives. Now we're transitioning into the Visual Arts Pavilion. Here, we're focusing on how cultural stories are meticulously constructed, whether that's by weaving physical threads on a loom or framing a cinematic shot on a screen. Let's apply our toolkit lenses to weaving practices. Ikat is this incredible technique where threads are resist-dyed into intricate patterns before they're even woven together. On one side, we have the incredibly complex double ikat from Sulu in the Philippines. On the other, the absolutely stunning Cambodian silk ikat. When we closely compare their mediums and techniques, from the type of loom to the actual dyeing process, we can see a shared Southeast Asian heritage. But at the same time, both maintain distinct colors, subjects, and themes that are fiercely unique to their own specific communities. In the world of film, weaving narratives obviously takes on a totally different form. Take Sandy Tan's amazing 2018 documentary Shirkers. The concept and process here are just wild. She and her friends shot this highly ambitious, quirky indie film in Singapore way back in the 1990s, but the footage was actually stolen by their mentor. Then, miraculously, it was recovered decades later. The final documentary explores that whole mystery, beautifully showcasing how cross-cultural collaboration and really pushing the boundaries of traditional film practices allows a uniquely Singaporean story to captivate audiences all over the globe. Section 5, Icons of Southeast Asian Art, the Masterminds. For the final stop on our Explainer Gallery tour today, we absolutely have to spotlight the masterminds. These are 5 pivotal artists whose groundbreaking techniques have elevated Southeast Asian art on a global scale. First up is the brilliant Pasita Abad from the Philippines. She is legendary for her trapunto quilting technique. Her process involves painting a canvas and then literally stuffing and stitching it so it physically pops out at you, creating this incredibly vibrant three-dimensional effect. Right alongside her is Singapore's Han Sai-por. Working with heady stone and natural materials, her massive sculptural mediums have really put Southeast Asian three-dimensional art on the global map through major international exhibitions. We have to add 3 more undeniable visionaries to that list. There's Lee Wen from Singapore, famous for his Yellow Man performance art. By covering himself entirely in bright yellow paint, his concept exaggerated and deeply questioned ethnic identity stereotypes. Then we have Harry Dono, who infused traditional Indonesian puppetry into modern installations, making him a huge global breakout star in the 1990s. And finally, Anyoman Masriati, whose striking, almost comic book-style paintings depict Indonesian history with this incredibly bold spirit of rebellion. Each of these masterminds showcases absolute control over their artistic subject and theme. So as your exit ticket for today's Masterclass Explainer, I'm leaving you with a challenge. We've seen how art in all its forms acts as both a mirror and a megaphone for culture. So how will you apply today's toolkit, subject, theme, concept, medium, process, technique, and practice? Seriously, use it. The next time you stream a local song or walk past a street mural on your way home, don't just look at it, analyze it. How does it reflect your very own cultural identity? Stay curious, keep observing, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.